As I am back with another video. Today I want to speak about the concept of time. So as we know, there are three time frames. There's the present, there's the past, and then there's the future. I want to speak about these three time frames in terms of how we can use them to empower our lives. So this concept I gathered while I was reading the book Gap or Gain by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. So the whole essence of the book is that we can use both the past and the future to our advantage in the present to empower our future by affecting the present. So how we do that is I'm just gonna speak on the reality or on the concept of the past. So the past is something that we can design in our minds, however way we want to. What I mean by that is, at the present moment, when something happens and it seems bad, we cannot really judge it at the time while it's happening. We can only judge if it was a bad thing by the time when time has elapsed for it to develop into something that we can judge. So, for example, you could have interviews. For example, you're looking for a job, and then you get interviews or you don't get interviews. Okay, let's start by let's just use the scenario where you are getting interviews. Let's say in a total of five interviews, four of them, the first four, you go through the interviews, but you never get selected to be the person that gets the job. All throughout the time, every time when you're not the one selected for the jobs, you are heartbroken. You are only viewing it by how it is exactly when it happens. But let me give you a scenario with and on the fifth interview, the job that if you would get that job would pay you two times whatever other job you would have gotten if you had been successfully been selected for the other four attempts. Just because now the fifth attempt, that job is it pays twice as much as any other job or the highest of the four jobs could pay. Now, how are you going to view your past now? Are you going to view it the same way you were viewing it before you got the job? No. Now you're actually viewing it as though if you had to choose to be selected in the other jobs, would you have selected knowing that? Would you have wanted to be selected, knowing now, if that was possible, knowing now that on the first attempt, on the first interview, you would be successful, and in getting that job would be the most paying out of all the five. You see how now you can empower yourself just by that fact. Just by that fact, my point is that when something is happening at that moment, knowing that, having that at the back of your mind that at this time it seems like it could be something detrimental or it isn't the way you would have wanted it to be. But by the mere fact that it can be a seed, it can be a seed to something greater or something you wouldn't have imagined or fathomed or wished for because of any limiting belief. Now you're viewing it differently. So that's how you can use your past to empower you in the present by just realizing that things like that can happen. And then now, how do you use your future to empower your present? You have goals. How big are your goals? As big as you can. As big as you can make them. Have your goal. If you want to have a million rands by the end of the year, have that as your goal. So now imagine you have a goal of a million rands at the end of the year. How does that affect your present? That affects your present in so much a way that you are now encouraged or motivated to be the kind of person that is deserving of a million rands by the end of the year. So what you're actually doing now is you are pulling the future towards your present. You see now? So that's how you can empower yourself using your future by pulling it figuratively towards your present, and then using your past to empower you in the present by changing how you perceive things that you would have originally viewed as negative or as bad. So that's I I use the time frames, the three time frames, to empower the two time frames, the future and the past, to empower my present. So I hope this helps someone that needs this kind of information, that needs this type of shift in perspectives in terms of time frames. And if you haven't, you should get the book Gap or Gain. It can change your life. Thank you so much.